Over 63,000 people have died from coronavirus globally. More than 1.1 million cases or infections have been reported globally. And of course, as the number of coronavirus infections continue to increase and as it continues to affect over 200 countries and territories, leaders are really trying to get solution into what could be the breakthrough for the treatment of the vaccine once it was declared a pandemic by the World Health Organization. Back in January, there was no need for use of masks, especially or apart from for the healthcare providers. But today, not just Kenya, but also the United States did urge its public to ensure that they use masks wherever they will be, because there are fears that the virus could also be spread via breathing. What more do you need to know about COVID-19 globally here in the country? How many cases? We have 4 more in the country. And of course, it is the lowest, one of the lowest number of cases that the country has been able to report. The mitigation measures, the stringent measures the government has been able to put across, are they working? Is it you that is adhering to these guidelines, such as social distancing? Tell us what you feel about this, and of course, the measures, what more ought to be done to prevent, especially now, the focus being on the quarantine facilities, those in different facilities spreading the virus amongst one another. What more should the government do to ensure this comes to an end? Not just the government of Kenya, but the world, the end of this virus. At Purity_Museu and at KBC Channel 1 News. Channel 1 News Weekend is the hashtag to use tonight. Of course, keep interacting with us. I'll be having a look at your feedback during and before the till end of the broadcast. I'm Purity Museo. Lucy is a sign language interpreter. Let's have a look at our top stories in the news highlights tonight.
Last 24 hours, we have tested over 300 people for coronavirus. Out of the 372 samples that we have taken, 4 have tested positive for the disease.
The curfew continues ascending. 4 more test positive for the coronavirus in Kenya, as those in mandatory quarantine to stay for 14 more days.
As you come to health facilities and as you come to seek treatment and care, please be honest to health workers.
Doctors' Union calls on patients not to hide any information that can help in the war against the coronavirus. And feeling the pinch of the coronavirus pandemic, major hotels in Nairobi close shop, rendering hundreds jobless. It is Saturday, the 4th of April, 2020. Glad that you could join us tonight with the latest news items on Channel 1 News Weekend. Feel free to engage us and tell us what you feel the impact of the COVID-19. What are some of the measures that you are taking? Are you washing your hands regularly, sanitizing? The challenges you are encountering even as we continue with the dusk to dawn curfew. Once again, welcome to this broadcast. I'm Purity Museo. Kenya has confirmed an additional 4 cases of novel coronavirus, bringing the number to 226, the highest in East Africa. The 4 were in a cluster of 372 people who were tested for the virus in the last 24 hours. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe was concerned that the number of cases were increasing among those in different quarantine facilities and has extended the quarantine period for an extra 14 days. Friday, Kenya recorded the highest number of positive cases of COVID-19 after 29 people tested positive for the new coronavirus. Saturday, Kenya recording one of the least cases since the virus was first reported in the country. Out of 372 people who were tested for the virus in the last 24 hours, only 4 turned positive, bringing the number as of Saturday to 126.
4 have tested positive for the disease. The 4 are 3 Kenyans and 1 Pakistani national. In terms of gender, we have 3 who are male and 1 who is female.
One of the Kenyan patients from the cluster had traveled from Malawi while the other two contracted the virus locally.
We have had cases of people testing positive in our quarantine facilities. Indeed, currently, they rank among the highest. This is likely to pose a risk of more transmissions, especially among those who have been sharing facilities or those who have not taken seriously the distancing requirements.
The CS said the government has so far tested 1,886 people from the 2,050 cases currently in designated isolation centers across the country. 184 people are, however, yet to undergo the screening and testing, with the government saying efforts in tracing the contacts of those in quarantine are currently underway. To prevent spread of coronavirus among those in different quarantine facilities, the government has extended the quarantine period for another 14 days.
We have instructed our medical teams to extend quarantining those in facilities which we believe have got individuals who need another 14 days, given the fact that the contacts that they have within the quarantine facilities have tested positive.
Kagwe said it was unfortunate the youth was not taking the pandemic with the seriousness it deserves.
It is you who will bury us, not in small numbers, but in very large numbers. Is that something that you would like to do? If it is not what you want to do, then the road ahead, the path ahead is clear. We have got to observe and be part of the solution to the problem.
The government hailing the quarantine measures, saying they are bearing fruits.
We believe that the measures that we are taking are having effect. Let's not forget the whole thing about curfew, or even what you are hearing people talking about lockdowns and distancing. The whole idea is to create social distancing or physical distancing, as it were. That is.
In the meantime, Health CS has condoled with the family of a senior Kenya Airways pilot who succumbed to COVID-19 after he evacuated Kenyans stranded in New York City before commercial flights were stopped in the country.
Captain Kibati managed to evacuate many Kenyans and non-Kenyans from the United States back into our country, but only for him to succumb to the same disease. In other words, he made the ultimate sacrifice. May his soul rest in peace. Kenyans owe him a great deal.
Captain Daudi Kimuyu Kibati, who was taken ill on March 29th, died on April 1st, a week after performing his last international assignment. Purity Museu, Channel 1 News, Nairobi. The government has established a national multi-agency command center to monitor the coronavirus pandemic in Kenya. The agency, led by Major General Ayub Matiri, is mandated to establish a strategic preparedness and response involving all key players in the government on the pandemic.
We have received confirmation.
The government has put together a team to manage the coronavirus outbreak in Kenya. The team, bringing together ministries, departments and agencies, has been mandated to run a national multi-agency command center dubbed Operation Kinga Corona. The center will be based in Nairobi's Embakasi area. The team, led by Major General Ayub Matiri, is charged with the task to strategically support technical and operational efforts in combating the virus. The team was established under the advice of the National Security Advisory Committee and will be required to establish a roadmap on the response to the pandemic involving all key players in government. It is also tasked with rapidly establishing coordination to deliver strategic support through existing mechanisms and partnership in the country. The team, among others, will work with all stakeholders in mobilizing resources to support and monitor the implementation of activities meant to tackle the current coronavirus outbreak.
I would also appeal for calm Kenyans, please let us avoid misinformation that causes panic and anxiety.
The multi-agency command center would be accessible both on phone and social media platforms including Twitter and Facebook at Kinga Corona. Officials at the center would be reached through public call line on 011-939688. The number once again is 011-939688. The Operations Center duty officer can be accessed through phone number 011-0939-676. The number once again is 011-093-9676. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1.
At Bobowino, we have followed the due process of washing hands, keeping distance and wearing masks, but still it persists. At KBC Channel 1, the grim reality, only God can save us, all right? Thank you for that. Okwiri Stephen, I'm observing 1 meter apart, social distance, washing hands more than 5 times a day, working from home. We shall overcome. Indeed, if you're doing all that, then we just hope that all shall be well. Tell us how you are staying safe at home and even at your places of work at Purity_Museu and at KBC Channel 1 News. Use the hashtag Channel 1 News Weekend or Channel 1 Weekend. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentist Union is urging Kenyans to be honest with information on their travel history and contacts when seeking healthcare services. KMPDU says 4 doctors are currently in isolation after coming into contact with a patient whose travel history was kept a secret by the guardians, only to be diagnosed with coronavirus.
Kenyan doctors are calling on the public to be the first in line of defense in keeping medics safe from the coronavirus. KMPDU says 4 doctors are currently in isolation after being exposed to the virus, yet information could have helped them in handling the patient.
As you come to health facilities and as you come to seek treatment and care, please be honest to health workers. We have had already cases of health workers infected, and upon further inquiry, we have found that members of the public have not disclosed full information during the history taking of their travel history and contact.
The union says the protection of healthcare workers remains paramount in efforts to fight COVID-19.
In the unfortunate event that any healthcare worker is infected unknowingly, before they are tested, if they are going back to their families every day, they are likely to infect their loved ones back at home, because we know sometimes in the house it may be difficult to keep social distance.
KMPDU calling on the government to prioritize the employment of all the 1,000 doctors currently out of employment and properly equip all public health facilities across the country.
The government, through the Minister of Health, immediately advertises for the employment of doctors across all cadres, employment of pharmacists, employment of medical practitioners, employment of dentists. We need all soldiers in the field.
The doctors called on the public to appreciate the magnitude of the work that goes into caring for COVID-19 patients, even as they challenge the government to state the actual numbers of personal protective equipment for individuals on the front line in combating the coronavirus. The union says it has set aside 3 million shillings to procure protective gear for its members who are at the front line in fighting the pandemic.
And the nominated Senator Dr. Gertrude Musuruve is urging the government to come up with pragmatic ways to protect people living with disability against the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Musuruve says people living with disability are vulnerable, hence the need for the government to set up a special fund to aid them while supporting measures imposed by the government to contain the spread of the deadly virus. She condemned the police for using force on harmless people.
Ken Timor, a hawker in Nairobi's Central Business District, continues with his daily business despite his physical disability. Timor, among many other people living with disability, are forced to work daily as they depend on hand-to-mouth to feed their families.
Natafutanga kenye tunakula daily, manake sisi mimi kama mlemavu sina pale nangoja nilipwe, ama ni mimi nisipokuja town niuze, siku hiyo sitapata kitu ya kula kwangu.
To caution people like Timor against the impact of the coronavirus, nominated Senator Gertrude Museu is now urging the government to come up with a blueprint on how to help such individuals.
It is not an easy time even for persons with disabilities. If the government can provide food for them, if the government can provide food for their families, because some of them are breadwinners, it would be very good for this country.
Museu wants as the first step the National Disability Council to collect data of all PWDs and make sure they receive sanitizers, face masks, soaps, water to protect them from contracting the virus.
But the National Council of Persons with Disabilities should come out strongly to say what exactly are they doing. So they should not really play the ostrich, because at this time many people are playing the ostrich, but we should not play the ostrich.
The senator, however, took issue with the police for caring less about the disabled when enforcing the curfew rules.
And I want to say that even the police that were involved in this heinous act should be brought to book, because when the police are doing their curfew, they have no right at all to injure people. They have no right at all to make people go to hospital.
This, as activists in Nakuru County urged the government to come up with campaigns targeted on the disabled on how to fight the virus.
Kwa sababu unakuta wengine hata ni viziwi, hawajasikia. I think kuna a lot of work that need to be done kwamba habari ifikie kila mmoja katika kijiji.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Right, and still ahead, we tell you why some hotels have decided to close business despite being part of the basic or essential service provider. That's when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Insurance Facts, brought to you by Insurance Regulatory Authority. Did you know that you can make a life insurance policy to provide your family future financial needs in the event of your untimely death or critical illness? Take up a life insurance policy to provide your family financial security and savings for the future needs. The life policy provides for future savings, which is paid upon maturity of the policy after an agreed period. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
You ever heard the saying, never rob a bank across from a diner that has the best donuts in 3 counties?
That's not a saying.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I get what you're saying,
Maybe
but it's not a saying.
It is a saying.
Okay.
It's a saying now. Everybody sit down on the floor.
Fire in the hole! Let's go, come on! How much you figure?
40 million.
$40 million?
But I got bad news for you.
He was special forces.
You've been on this limb way too long.
Pull over! Did you miss me?
What's your plan?
I got a plan. I mean, I'm capable of coming up with a
I'm not saying
plan.
you're not capable. I'm just saying you haven't told me. What is it?
I'm working on it.
Make it rain.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Tuona kwa shamba yetu bila kutoa lolote. Ariri, usilie. Hii ni mitihani tu.
Mimi naomba ruhusa nende nikapumzike, maana nasikia vibaya.
Mama Dama, si nishakwambia umsamehe.
Yusuf, wewe umepataje hii?
Dad, mimi si CID. Mimi ni lawyer.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days. Dial *719# or call 719. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. The National Environment and Management Authority has raised concerns over the disposal of face masks, gloves and sanitizing wipes, which are currently widely used following the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic in the country. Subsequently, NEMA has petitioned the committee handling the coronavirus pandemic in the country to come up with measures and guidelines to ensure Kenyans do not spread the virus unintentionally through the hygienic products. National Environment and Management Authority Waste Management Regulation says all medical waste products be collected by licensed medical waste transporters and be disposed through an incinerator.
Ule mtu anatumia pengine kama PS amesema akona ugonjwa ya hii virus, na ukitupa kila pahali itaanza kuinfect large population ya community.
Several concerns have been raised on whether Kenyans are aware of the proper way to dispose their face mask after use, especially those at home where medical waste containers are not available. The National Environment and Management Authority, NEMA, says without proper disposal mechanism by end users, one can easily spread the coronavirus unintentionally through the potentially contaminated face masks, gloves and sanitizing wipes.
NEMA kupitia Waste Management Regulation 2006 tuko na mikakati ya kusema all this medical waste has to be collected by licensed medical transporters, waste transporters. Alafu zinapelekwa, zinakuwa sorted vizuri na inakuwa disposed through an incinerator. Lazima ichomwe vizuri.
Hata ukiwa nyumbani, tafadhali ukitumia usichukue hii kama vile unachukua ile takataka nyingine. Ni vizuri tutilie maanane, tujue kwamba ni wakati kuna virus, kwa hivyo tuwe angalifu na tutumie njia zote kuhakikisha kwamba tumeweka hii safely.
Even as the government targets to locally produce and distribute millions of protective gears across the country from next week, the Ministry of Environment is calling for measures and guidelines on proper disposal of the gears immediately after use.
NEMA has issued today an advisory to the Ministry of Health to ensure that within the committee handling the current issues, that the public is educated and that measures are taken to make sure that we have all this put together in a container that is does not allow leakage at all, and then it is safely disposed.
Here is a step-by-step mask disposal procedure. Remove mask from face. Be gentle so that not to disturb liquid and solid contaminants on the mask. Place mask in a plastic bag like a grocery shopping bag or a Ziploc bag. Secure bag tightly. Place plastic bag into the garbage or waste disposal unit. Wash hands immediately after disposing of your mask. Never put on a new face mask until you have properly washed your hands. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
In Mombasa, Coast Regional Coordinator John Lungata has directed the Kenya Ferry Services to avail one passenger vessel to ply the channel during off-peak hours from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., usually reserved for the vehicles to ease traffic at the Likoni crossing. In the aftermath of the dusk to dawn curfew, passengers are ferried across the channel between 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mombasa has 9 confirmed cases of coronavirus.
On Saturday, Devolution Chief Administrative Secretary Hussein Dado, accompanied by Coast Regional Coordinator John toured the Likoni crossing channel in Mombasa.
If we see a crowd, we evacuate that crowd.
We do not want people to keep on crowding so that it becomes a war in the evening. So we want to keep the pressure low all the time. But the priority right now from 11 to 2, priority is vehicles. But should there be demand for passenger traffic or for pedestrians, we'll give them priority as well.
Following enforcement of the 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew, the number of people crossing within the short period of commute has made social distancing difficult. Elungata urged the commuters to try their best to observe the guideline even while on board the vessels, at the same time encouraging those not in essential services category to remain at home. Devolution CAS Usendado said it's prudent for people to adhere to the curfew directive to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
Mombasa inaweza tumika kama pilot ya lockdown, halafu mpate shida zaidi. Na lockdown imefanywa na ulimwengu mzima. Ni vile rais wetu ana huruma, anasema watu wajisaidie kidogo kidogo mchana. Wewe unaona hii ni mchezo? It's not. Wengine wakisema kazi ichapwe kama kawaida, hiyo ni yao. Hata sisi sasa tutaanza kucontrol watu katika mipaka yetu.
Even as he urged the security apparatus to be lenient on those supplying foodstuffs past the curfew deadline, since they are enlisted in the essential services category.
Lakini sababu ya kuweka curfew jioni peke yake ni mwananchi utafute riziki yako ya halali. Sawa sawa. Tafadhali, kama maduka hizi za kawaida, mahoteli hakuna kupeana chakula kwa hoteli, take away. Lakini maduka zile zingine za kawaida, hardware, nguo, zisifungwe, msifanyishe wananchi kazi ya ziada.
In a bid to ease traffic at this channel during the off-peak hours, that is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., the Coast Regional Coordinator John Elungata has directed that one ferry be plying across this channel during that time in order to ease the congestion. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
Thank you so much, Michael. The hospitality industry in Kenya is bearing the brunt of the global coronavirus pandemic, with thousands of workers losing their livelihoods. In Kenya, the over 100-year-old Norfolk Hotel in Nairobi and the Intercontinental Hotels are the latest establishments to close shop due to the pandemic.
Nairobi city streets. Very few people and traffic. Kenyans heeding to the government call to stay home to minimize the spread of the coronavirus. Businesses, and especially in the hospitality industry, suffering the most as the pandemic forces them to close shop and others struggling to stay afloat. Dozens of hotels in Kenya providing employment opportunities to hundreds have closed down indefinitely, while others have had to send workers on compulsory unpaid leave. The Intercontinental and the Norfolk hotels at the center of Nairobi being the latest victims to halt services indefinitely. In a press statement, the Intercontinental Hotel said it was closing on a temporary basis until further notice as a measure to protect its employees and the guests. A spot check by Channel 1 News showed some of the hotels had notices at the entrance of their establishment showing they had closed. Hotels, mainly at the coast, which heavily relies on foreign tourists, have remained deserted and have had to close down. The Hilton Hotel in Nairobi, Dusit D2, Sopa Lodges, White Rhino Hotel, Mayan Enashipai Resort and Spa, and the Western Hotel are some of the big hotels in the industry that have ceased or have had to downscale operations. However, players in the industry have expressed optimism that the industry will bounce back after the pandemic and have urged the government to put measures that will help reduce the spread of the pandemic and ensure normalcy returns. For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troenjue.
At Derek Oigo, nice work to the government on the measures it's taking. Cecily, safely in quarantine in my house, visitors are not welcome. Right. Brian Alingalinga, I'm watching from Kakamega County. I believe lockdown is required in some areas. My plea to Kenyans, let's observe the precautions given. Keep talking to us at Purity_Museu and at KBC Channel 1 News. Now, there are no recreational activities at Nairobi's Uhuru Park owing to the social distancing directive issued by the Ministry of Health to curb the spread of coronavirus. A spot check at the grounds revealed that a deserted space with a few traders daring to venture into the space. Kamche Menza reports.
Uhuru Park, Nairobi paints the picture of a quiet site with a few parked cars, a handful of traders spread out within the compound, and minimal human traffic. The recreational part of the park appears the hardest hit by the coronavirus pandemic, as swing sets, slides, carousels, and boats remain deserted. The preventive measures adopted by the government in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic taking a toll on the area. Those who make a living out of the small businesses here feeling the pinch.
Business equal down to sana. We don't have even a fare to go back to home.
Jumamosi tangu hii ligonjwa yanze, hatuna customers juu kila kitu, hata boat nini wamefunga, mala watu wasoda tu, lakini kuna wenye wanatembea. Sasa unaweza kubidi tu unakaa tu, lakini saa zingine utafunga tu bila kuuza hata.
Kama saa hii kungekuwa kumejaa, business inaendelea, mahosi zingekuwa.
In the absence of clientele, most traders have stayed away, and for those remaining on the site, the returns are not encouraging.
Saturday unaweza kuingiza hata 3,000 per day, lakini hapa naweza kutoka hata na 150 per day.
Unakuja unarudi bila kitu.
Like Saturday kama leo sasa ningekuwa nimeuza kitu kama 800, but at this moment I just have 50 shillings in my pocket.
And even as they brave the current trying times, another major concern is security.
Hiyo ingine nimesema ni security, kiwanja imekuwa mbaya sasa hizi. Sababu chokora wako na wale concerned hawashughuliki na wao.
Kama wanaweza kusaidia wa biashara nini wa jua kali, hiyo ni at least. Heri utukae kwa nyumba, unaweza kukula lakini bora tu unasaidia maisha yako. Business unaweza kufunga after hii ugonjwa ikisha, tunaingia kazi pale.
For those who have ventured to the park to unwind, Uhuru Park, they say, is tranquil.
Nimegundua kwamba pia kumekuwa kusafi kidogo. Kwa maana kuna wakati ukija hapo wakuta ni kuchafu sana.
It's a cool environment. Kuna wakati mwingine unakuja in normal days kabla hiki haupati mali pa kuketi, haupati mali utazunguka, lakini saa hii hausumbuki pia sana. So pia on the other hand, kuko sawa.
The government has discouraged visits to social and recreational sites across the country as a measure to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
Dad has not been feeling well for a long time. He has become so weak, we can't play together.
Why are you refusing to go to the hospital? I told you there is no way you'll know if it is TB or not if you do not go and get tested. If by any chance you find out that you have TB, you'll get the treatment for free from any hospital. All the tests are free. All the medications are free. Are you waiting to infect your family so that you can go to the hospital?
Don't wait till it's too late. TB is preventable, treatable, and curable. Top on Channel 1.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing.
He was special forces. You've been on this limb way too long.
Pull over! Did you miss me?
What's your plan? I got a plan. I mean, I'm capable of coming up with a plan.
I'm not capable. I'm just saying you haven't told me. What is it?
I'm working on it.
If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days. Dial *719# or call 719. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
On the next episode of Behind Closed Doors.
Ismail! Ismail, we have to go. Ismail.
What were you doing here last night?
Tell me, did you come to kill me like you killed Ignacia?
I demand an answer, Pilar. Where were you at the time Ignacia was shot?
Get out of here. Get out.
I was just leaving.
How dare you come to my own house and blame me for Ignacia's death when I lied to Renato Conde for you?
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days. Dial *719# or call 719. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
I welcome you back once again to Channel 1 News Weekend. Transport in Enosai, Narok North has been paralyzed following the heavy downpour which swept away a bridge connecting Narok Town and Enosai. Locals are appealing to relevant authorities to help reconstruct the bridge, saying if the area is hit by the coronavirus pandemic, it will be hard to access any medical facilities.
Enosai area has been cut off from Narok Town after heavy rain swept off a crucial bridge in the area. Locals now lament movement in the area has been limited since they depend on the bridge for their daily livelihoods.
We grow barley, we grow wheat, we grow all the vegetables, we have everything. The food is rotten, we are just hearing the food is rotten and everywhere else.
Elsewhere, Garissa County has partnered with the National Drought Management Authority for the second round of the livestock vaccination in the area. Garissa County Executive Committee in charge of livestock, Mohammed Shale, said the exercise targets over 800,000 goats and sheep and 500,000 cattle to be vaccinated against contagious caprine pneumonia.
We want to ensure that they do the right things in order to stop the prevalence of livestock-based diseases.
In another development, Kenya Forest Service officials have impounded a lorry carrying the banned cedar timber and arrested 2 suspects in Maralal, Samburu County. KFS Acting Commandant Omara Komara said the 2 suspects are believed to be behind the syndicate dealing with cutting endangered tree species in the area.
Were led by one of the suspects to the homestead where the timber was removed from. We found timber material.
Meanwhile, Taita Taveta County has carried out fumigation of buildings in a bid to control the spread of the coronavirus. The exercise kicked off in Voi Town with Governor Granton Samboja saying there is another team which is conducting the same process in the other 4 sub-counties of Mwatate, Undanyi and Taveta.
Na tayari tumemaliza ndani ya town. Sasa hii wanazunguka na maduka na wataendelea na zoezi hilo. Na ni zoezi ambalo leo watafanya Voi hii, kesho watakuwa Mwatate.
In the meantime, a section of leaders from Rabai have come in defense of Kilifi Deputy Governor Gideon Saburi following his arrest yesterday. The leaders say Saburi's political enemies are taking advantage of his woes to try and finish him politically using social media. And finally, a family in Uruma Estate, Eldoret Town, Wasingishu County was forced to spend the night in the cold after a tussle emerged between them and the landlord over payment of rent. It is believed that Jane Bosibori failed to clear March rent arrears of 500 shillings, causing the landlord to throw her out with her 1-month baby.
Hii nyumba kwanza tunalipa shilingi 4,000
na mwezi wa 3 wenye imeisha nilimpea 3,500 ikabaki 500. Vile alikuja akaitisha hiyo pesa, nikamwambia ngoja tena kidogo nitakuletea. Yeye naye akasire ikashika, yeye akaweka vijana wakapanda juu ya mabati wakang'ang'ua mabati.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Timothy Kipnusu.
Let me first have a look at your feedback. Kenny T. Nega, you're watching Channel 1 News Weekend. Peter, we the youth of Tesson North are joining the CS Kagwe on the spread of stopping the spread of the COVID-19. Let's wash our hands, keep social distance, stay at home, says the Tesson North Youth President. All right, Blessed Boy Child, BBC. People should stop looking at this virus as a mythical issue, but instead know it is real. So Kenyans should stop making jokes on this virus. Wash your hands and put on masks and gloves. Keep distance, take care. I'm glad that most of us know some of the measures that they should be taking. And then we also have Mahero Jen, you're watching from Kakamega County, Plexi Raki watching from Nyeri County. All right, let's have a look at one more report. As cases of COVID-19 infections continue to rise in the country, fears of the coronavirus spreading in communities abound. How likely are you to catch COVID-19? Take a look. The risk depends on where you are and more specifically whether there is a COVID-19 outbreak unfolding there. For most people in most locations, the risk of catching COVID-19 is still low. However, there are now places around the world where the disease is spreading. For people living in or visiting these areas, the risk of catching COVID-19 is higher. Be sure to comply with any local restrictions on travel, movement, or large gatherings. Cooperating with disease control efforts will reduce your risk of catching or spreading COVID-19. You can reach the Ministry of Health through emergency toll-free line 0800-721316 or through 0729471414 and 0732353535 for more information. You can get more information on COVID-19 by calling 719 or dialing *719# on your phone. Right, we now want to take another break, but when we come back, it will be sports news with my colleague Daniel Wahome. Thank you so much for keeping us company thus far. Don't go too far. Wahome is up next. I will also be coming back to sample more of your feedback. Keep them coming, right?
Come back to me, I'm begging you please.
Next on.
Talking about self-awareness.
Yes.
Just being aware of who you are and the kind of energy that you emit and how that energy affects other people, and most of how does that affect you. From experience again, there are times people are totally unaware of their pH level, as you call it.
Yes.
And it takes feedback and being open to feedback to know, and then once you know, then working with a coach to devise ways.
Who do you work with? I always say this, who do you work with? Who do you spend time with? Who do you consult? And who do you get in touch with?
A very good evening to you. I'm Daniel Woman. Welcome to Channel 1 Sport. Now, para-athletes are calling on the government and the National Paralympic Committee, the IPC, to put in place measures that will shield them from the economic aftershock of the coronavirus pandemic. The athletes want the authorities to step in so as to alleviate their suffering caused by the postponement of various qualifying events. The coronavirus pandemic has forced cancellation of various sporting events, including the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which have been pushed to 2021.
Para-powerlifting coach Lina Nyaboke, who oversaw the national team's participation at the qualifying leg of the World Para-Powerlifting Championship in Nigeria late last year, says the cancellation of various qualifying events leaves para-athletes in dire situation, proposing that the National Paralympics Committee and the government intervene.
Maisha yamekuwa ngumu kwa sababu unajua kuna watu wale wanakuwa wanaenda wanauza vitu zao kidogo town hooking, ndio mtu anapata pesa ya kwenda hata hiyo training. Saa hii hata kuna watu wanalia kwa manyumba, wanashindwa wafanye nini kwa sababu hakuna chakula, hakuna chochote. Kwanza ukiwa mlemavu, kama ujitafuti na una kazi yoyote, by the way, mtu unaumia kabisa. Kama saa hii watu kama wachezaji wananipigianga simu wanalia, wanasema sasa tunakufa.
Sentiments shared by nominated Senator Getru Musuruve, who said the government should put in place mechanism to remunerate para-athletes who have qualified for the Paralympic Games in 2021 and those still lined up for more qualifying events.
Identify persons with disabilities who bring glory and honor to this country, and even give them incentives so that even from their sweat, even from their effort, and even from the fact that they place the nation, at the core of international level, then their families should benefit from this.
The coronavirus pandemic has caused cancellation of various sporting events, with the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games pushed to 2021. Bernard Okumu, The Sport at 9.
Now, the coronavirus pandemic has shut down the world, forcing cancellation of various sporting events across the globe. Locally, sportsmen and women have been forced to conduct their training indoors following the ban on gatherings, remaining resolute with their training regime, while they have continued to follow in the face of the COVID-19 disease. Channel 1 spoke with several sportsmen and women, including former national women's volleyball team head coach David Lungaho, Malki Strikers player Sharon Chepchumba, Harambee Stars midfielder Hano Molo, and Kenya Lionesses Janet Okolo, who shared how they're training at these unpredictable times.
Yeah, for the last 1 month we have not been training because of this pandemic that has hit the world. We stopped training because of government instructions. But we are encouraging players and of course ourselves as coaches to keep in touch with our training with the balls. That's why we do some training. The players have programmed to do something at their homes, and also as coaches we are not left behind. We will also do some little bit of training so that we not lose the touch. Otherwise, I think if all goes well and we go through this pandemic, then we are going to go back into training so that we don't find ourselves unfit.
Kenya ningependa kusema ni kwamba corona imetuaffect sana kutokana na kutotrain na my fellow players, na pia leagues, saizi leagues zimesimamishwa. Yeah, so wakati tutaanza kucheza league utapata tunaharakisha, hatutakuwa na time ya kujiprepare more, ama hatutakuwa na time ya kuread opponent wetu juu itakuwa ni kurush. Maybe tunaweza kuwa tunacheza game 3-4 kwa siku, which is a hard thing to do. Mi Kenya ningependa tu kusema kila kitu ni mpango wa God. We just need to accept everything and move on, cause tupende tusipopenda ni kitu iko na ni kitu ina happen, so lazima tu to accept na to move on. Yeah, na mi penye niko mali niko hapa nyumbani na try even a day nikuwe nimefanya workout kidogo in order to keep fit, and I'm very sure my fellow players wherever they are also they are doing something, so itatusaidia sana kukeep fit, na siku tutarudi kwa field hatutakuwa na shida mob za kufanya. Angalau tuna challenges za ball handling, cause you don't have a ball in the house, you don't have space to use, so hii inaweza kuwa shida kwetu, but keeping fit it will help, cause tukirudi huko tutakuwa tuna shida ya ball handling, which tunaweza ifanya for just 2 days 3 days na una get your ball handling.
Kwa wiki 3 iliyopita hatujaweza kufanya zoezi kwa pamoja
kwa ajili ya ugonjwa huu wa corona. Sasa imebidi nifanye mazoezi yangu ya kibinafsi kwa nyumba ili nisibaki nyuma tukirudi kwa pamoja kama timu. Ukiwa nyumbani kuna aina nyingi ya zoezi ambayo unaweza fanya. Kuna push-ups, kuna crunches, kuna sit-ups, kuna squats na kadhalika. Nawahimiza wachezaji wenzangu msikae bure nyumbani. Nikimalizia, osha mkono yako kwa sabuni kwa sekunde 20. Kaa nyumbani na tuzingatie masharti tunayopewa na serikali yetu. Kwa pamoja tunaweza kupigana na janga hili.
With the current situation in the world, it has affected businesses and sports people, I being one of them. Well, it is important to obey the government's rule and stay at home. Even if you stay at home, you can still do some workouts like push-ups, sit-ups, down-ups, and many others. Let's stay at home, stay fit, and avoid the spread of corona.
To stay at home, you only go out when it's really necessary, like when you have to do your groceries or something. Everything is closed. Everyone is working at home, not going to school. Kids are at home, not going to jobs. Everyone is just at home. You go to have to make a line outside because they are not allowing a lot of people to. So you are like 1 or 2 people inside the store. So it's a different way to people trying to adapt to this new. We were told we could not fly, and we were kept in quarantine for 14 days because apparently there was one of the members of the medical staff had contracted the virus. So yeah, otherwise it's okay. We are trying to deal with it here. Of course, I miss being at home with my family, and also to see the foundation and everything going on there. But I have to stay here and help those who are fighting this virus, to give them an easy time.
Hapa hivi ni mbao. Hii mbao natumia kutake off from here this take off. Hii video nimeamua kutoa kwa sababu ya hii corona imetupea self quarantine. Hii unaona hii poma ni ya nyumbani. Mnaona hata hii kuna ng'ombe hapa hivi ni ya nyumbani. Sasa nimeamua kutoa hii video. I hope you will enjoy it. And nitaonyesha vile naruka. So wacha nifanye warm up moja muangalie. So wacha tupime tuangalie ni mita ngapi nimeruka. Ni 6.92. So nimeamua kutoa hii video kwa encourage at least wenzangu, hata mkiwa self quarantine, nasema mazoezi iendelee. Kama mnaoona mimi nimeamua kwenda kuchimba mama yetu, nikiendelea kuchunga ng'ombe malishoni. So what I encourage you is that stay focused, don't lose hope. Hii corona itaenda na kila kitu itakuwa sawa. Kitu kingine mimi nawaambia, wash your hands, otherwise God bless you.
Well, para-athlete Vincent Mutai with that story. And also we had Johanna Omolo, who's a Harambee Stars midfielder, Janet Okelo, who plays for the Kenya Lionesses, Charles Bosire, Sharon Chepchumba, and David Lungaho from the Kenya Volleyball Federation family. And we thank them for their stories. And moving on is that FIFA could raise the age limit for the men's football tournament at next summer's rearranged Olympic Games in Tokyo to 24 from 23. The sports governing body has recommended moving the limit to accommodate players eligible for this year's games, which were postponed because of the coronavirus pandemic.
Players born on or after 1st of January 1997 will be allowed to play. It's said to be approved by the FIFA Bureau. The Bureau is a reduced version of FIFA's decision-making council. The tournament is due to start before the opening ceremony on